In Friday's Bible study, I shared this quote from the Greek-English lexicon of the New Testament based on semantic domains. It says that faith is to believe to the extent of complete trust and reliance, to believe in, to have confidence in, to have faith in, to trust. Faith, trust. To have complete trust. Now, I don't know about you. However, the complete part of that I find difficult. I know that there are times that I don't completely trust that God will get me through the difficult situations in life. There are times that I forget to pray, and there are times that I don't want to take a situation to God in prayer because I might then be changed. And there are times that I figure I can handle the situation on my own and I don't need to either have God join me in that or to hand it over to God. What does it mean to live by faith then? For I don't think I'm any different than most people in those regards. That we all find times that we can rely on ourselves and don't rely on God in order to complete the tasks that are before us. Does it mean, if we don't rely on God for everything, that we're not leading a life of faith? Maybe to some degree, yes, and maybe to some degree, no. I wonder what we might think it means to trust and to particularly trust God when we're met with a medical issue. Do we trust God if we decide that we're going to pray our way to better health? Or do we trust God if we seek out the most skilled doctor in order to care for us? Or do we trust that God has provided the skills needed to restore us to health, to all sorts of healthcare practitioners who might be best for us to find that healing? And what about a financial situation? Do we trust that God will provide for us and somehow we will magically win a lottery and money will appear in our bank account if we just pray for that to happen? Or do we trust that God has provided the world with skilled advisors who can help us figure out a way forward? Maybe trusting God isn't about praying our way out of a situation. Maybe trusting God is about finding a way to live in that situation that is before us. For see, the important part of the theme of today's readings isn't necessarily the faith part. We all have faith to some degree. And we know that even a little bit of faith, as small as a mustard seed, can move mountains. However, when faith is paired in this theme, it is paired with living. And there we can find the balance that our life needs. Yes, we can't abandon our faith. However, we can't also pray our way out of situations. Just praying. Living our lives without a deep prayer life rarely works. Both living in the world and praying are necessary in order for us to truly live by faith. Once I figured those things out, how to balance life and faith. Actually, in the process of trying to figure those things out, I find that balance that my life needs. that balance of living and faith, of life and prayer. Now, often in the church we throw around big words such as justification, and we debate their meaning in the life of the church. However, I think that life by faith, is simpler than those words will allow us to believe at times. For I think that we need to hear again these words of Paul to see how our life should be. And it is no longer I who live, but it is Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. How is it that Christ loves in me? How is it that Christ lives in me? Well, Christ had a connection with God, with the God who created us, that was so strong that his faith was undeniable. He had an understanding of God's love that was so radical in its expression. When we, as followers of Jesus, balance our time between living in the world and our time praying, we too will be living by faith, even in the midst of doubts and fears and not handing things over to God. Because eventually we will reconnect with our God. We'll reconnect with Christ, who lives within us each and every day, each and every moment. And for that we give thanks. Amen.